All right, so yeah, we have this Blind Cafe event, and basically, we are going to spend a couple hours in the pitch dark with about 100 people, all sharing food together, laughing, crying, singing at large tables. And it's a fantastic event. We have some amazing keynote speakers that are actually coming out from Colorado, Portland, and Austin, Texas, to come lead the whole blind discussion. We have a blind awareness piece that's all in the pitch dark also. And then we have this music performance, and I'll be performing some music with some local musicians from San Francisco area. So it's really cool. So we have Honey here, and we have Sugar, and they are our blind tasters today. And so this is not what the Blind Cafe is actually like. Actually, we're trying to give you a show of something we can't show you. Pretty much, that's what it comes down to, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Because in the dark, it's literally in the dark. You cannot see anything, and it's quite a wild ride when you first enter. It's intense. Everybody's talking really loud. There's 100 people in there, and you're led to your table. And what's different from the Blind Cafe and other dinner in the dark experiences is a lot of dinner in the dark experiences, it's yourself and your date, and you have your blind waiter, and you're in a pitch dark room, right? Yeah.
Who's clearly blind and spilled wine all over my chest. Thank you.
That's right.
Oh, no!
So what we do is we actually pair you up with some other folks. So you are sharing food at a table together. So you have to break bread together. And there's something about going through an ordeal together or going through some kind of challenge where, even if it's just figuring out where the bread is and how to pass it around or how to talk to somebody at your table you just met very briefly in a low lighted room. And so, if two of you, say as you're going out on a date with somebody, you'd actually be paired up with 6 other people, right? Yeah. And so you all have to work together to get your food. So it's really fantastic.
Do you have any good stories that came up out of that? Something that,
I do, actually, yeah.
Tell them about the naked people.
Oh, no, we're going to save them. Yeah, because I am going to show you guys what it's like in the dark a little later. Just kidding. Well, one funny thing is, the Blind Cafe is broken up into 3 different parts. So we have our dinner experience where people share food and break bread together. And we bring in a local chef, and we get volunteers, we get local sponsors, and it's a real community building experience, just creating the food, putting it out there, right? And then everybody has to break bread together and eat, right? But then we have a whole blind awareness piece where we have a discussion with the blind wait staff, and we have the dark chocolate, which I think we'll dark chocolate.
And we have Alter Echo's chocolate today, who's a sponsor.
We should need some
Don't tell
free
them
chocolate.
that they had quinoa in it to make it healthy, because you can't taste it. It tastes like Rice Krispie treat.
Yes, it's amazing.
Wow. No way.
Alter Echo, thank you so
fantastic.
much for sponsoring this chocolate. It's amazing.
So we do this dark chocolate experience, and then we have whole music performance. In Austin, Texas last year, we actually got everybody in the dark. It's 100 people. It's quite an adventure, right? To get everybody in the dark. And so everybody's finally in the dark. It's really loud. It's intense. I ring a Tibetan singing bowl to bring everybody together so we can all connect, right? Sorry.
Scary.
She heard it.
Honey's hungry.
I heard the package open.
I hear rappers.
I can smell that chocolate.
Look at already you're starting to pay attention to your other senses, right?
You can hear it all.
It's true.
So-
It's very true.
Ooh, there it
Makes it all the
is.
more
I detect it in my hand.
Sugar?
It's all about the detection in your hand
There you go.
and
Now
hearing
you
what
feel it? How's
actually
it feel?
opens. It feels bumpy. I feel the quinoa.
Oh, it's quinoa.
It's quinoa chocolate.
Yeah.
Is that the same as quinoa?
Would you like
Quinoa. Yes, it's quinoa.
There you go.
So since you're so good, who would be the maker of this chocolate?
Oh, Alter Echo.
Alter Echo.
Alter
It's a
Echo.
local
And they're
company here, right?
Yeah, they're local
no
in San
way.
Out of San
Francisco.
Francisco.
You were able to find this like a blind test? Oh, this is fantastic. What a great taste. I mean, this is
Wait, you haven't tried it yet?
No, but she did. No, but she did. I mean, wow.
I know it's Alter Echo. I know my friend Lauren over at Alter Echo kindly said they want to be a part of this for 2 days. They want to actually sponsor the chocolate. And I was just
That's a lot of chocolate.
Blown
You could
away.
take a bath in that much of
I
chocolate.
know.
We
I
serve a
know.
lot of chocolate at the Blind
Yes.
Cafe. Yeah.
And this is really phenomenal too, because you would have no idea this is actually quinoa you're eating. Who said this was like the healthy version of the Blind Cafe?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's going to be paired with vegetarian food for all of the 9 nights that we're actually having the event.
Did I say vegetarian?
I thought you were just a guest. How did you know so much about this?
Well, I heard about it. It's all over the news. It's all over the news. I heard about it.
So what kind of cuisine? This is a 3-course meal, or this is a 4-course meal, or how?
So it's an all-course meal. And so what that means is we serve it all together on the table ahead of time, like
It's
Thanksgiving.
like family style.
Yeah, it's like Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So you actually have to work together and get your food and stuff like that. We do bring the dark chocolate treats out a little later.
Okay.
Yeah, so the blind wait staff is, the blind wait staff there is more actually to kind of hold space emotionally for everybody.
Okay.
Because it can be intense. Sometimes we have 1 or 2 people that can't do it.
Yeah.
And they have to,
What do you mean?
out. What's that?
What do you mean by that?
Well, we lead them into the dark through this special blackout fabric in this darkness structure that we have. And,
Which
you're gonna tell me what
winery
it
is
is.
this?
You can,
Which
taste it
winery
first.
is this?
Taste it, and that's
yes,
great. We're going to be
so-
able to talk about this one here.
yeah.
So
And
this
so
is
every
probably-
once in a while, someone needs some counseling because when you walk into the Blind Cafe and it's completely pitch dark, almost everybody's never actually been in pitch dark.
Yeah.
It's some kind of light and your eyes adjust. When you walk in, it's like jumping into cold water, like, you know? And like, what happens sometimes when you jump out of cold water, into cold water, you want to actually,
you want to-
you want to jump out of the water, right? You know? So, but if you stay through that feeling, that anxiety and that experience, you start to soften up and it washes over you and you start to relax. You get to your table, you got your food, you got your friend, you got your boyfriend or whoever's with you, right?
Or your ex-boyfriend at this point.
Are you sure?
You
You know
know,
who
you're
you-
just like,
You
you
have,
know
you
who
have
you're
3
touching?
ex-boyfriends
Are you
here and your new boyfriend you just
And they can't see each other. So it's cool.
yeah, and they all think they're on a date with you.
So, if I can
That's
interrupt,
brilliant.
which am I drinking a Viognier from Stark Winery?
You are very good, actually.
Oh,
That is, you know.
wow, how did you know?
She's good at that.
I know this
What a
wine
palate.
because Stark Winery from Jen and Christian, they're very good friends. They are known for this wine. The Viognier is one of their top
and you're right.
wines.
This is actually a Viognier that's coming out from the Sierra Foothills. So Stark Winery is a small winery in Hillsburg here, north of Napa Valley, and they're making this delicious Viognier from the Sierra Foothills from a vineyard called Damiano, and a very exotic type of Viognier. Viognier that is a lot of, very tropical, I would describe that. So a nice bottle of wine, this is about $20, something like that. Something a bit different than what we do here in Napa Valley, for instance. But delicious one. Very nice. Yeah.
Yes.
So-
Lena, did you want to try some?
Absolutely, if I can find a glass.
And Lena, you're the, because I know you're my date tonight, but I love bragging
you,
about
darling.
my date.
Sugar.
You got honey and sugar.
Darling. Oh, honey. That's
Lena,
right.
so you're one of the sponsors for the Blind Cafe, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. What are you doing again for it?
Well, I have offered some nice, silent auction items of Pilates classes to make it a healthy version of a Blind Cafe event.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Are you providing a spendex suit?
I might show up to one of the
in your
the
spandex?
dinners
Yeah.
as a guest performance in a spandex
Oh,
suit.
wow.
Yes.
That'd be great.
You'll have to buy a ticket to find out.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right.
Will you be doing yoga in the dark?
Possibly.
I
that
guess-
might be the 6th course.
I guess we won't know.
However, let me it's not yoga, it's Pilates.
Oh,
Yes, it's San Francisco Pilates
Look at me.
company. It's
Look at me.
So it's totally different.
goes to show I know.
There we go. There we go.
Well, how
We might
embarrassing.
make Rosh do hundreds on the table. So.
Yeah, I was going to try to get her to do some here, but it wasn't gonna-
So, Rosh, very quickly, how you came up with this idea? I mean, you're the founder
Well, what it comes down to for me is I love bringing people together and creating the context for people to come together and
Okay.
relate and connect. And so I had set up, I'm a musician forefront, so I'm a songwriter. I perform in the dark with a whole string section, like violins, violas, and cellos. And during that time, what we do is Yeah, you pointed to the camera and totally messed me up. I'm sorry, it's not working for me. What was the question again?
You know, you came up with the idea.
Oh, the idea, yeah. So basically, I was on tour in Iceland, and I was traveling to all these people's homes and staying for a couple of days as a cultural exchange, doing music in their living room. And I went to a cafe in the dark in Reykjavik, and I found it to just be a really powerful experience. I actually ended up meeting some people I've been in contact with online in the dark. So there was this Icelandic girl, and I went to go talk to her, and she had this table in front of her with all these laminated cards with Braille on them and Icelandic words. And so I went up to her and I said, "What's this?" And she goes, "Oh, it's a cafe in the dark." And I'm like, "Oh, what's a cafe in the dark?" And she goes, "Oh, all the wait staff are blind and you can't see anything there." And I was like, wow, okay, so does it cost to get in? And she says, no. She says, but if you're going to buy anything, you have to buy your coffee outside. So I paid for my coffee. She gave me a little card that said coffee on it in Icelandic. She gives me a cane and she sends me through this doorway, closes the door behind me. It starts getting really dark.
And you have a hot coffee in your hand.
Oh, scary.
Well, no, I don't have the coffee yet. I just have the card with the Braille on it and the Icelandic word. And I start walking down the hallway, and I'm like, can feel the edge of the hallway with my stick, my cane, right?
Oh dear.
And I get to the end, and then I open up another door. I find there's another door, and when I open up that door, it gets pitch dark, and it's just like I said, it's like jumping in the cold water. And I can hear dishes clanking and people chatting away in Icelandic. And it was just like, whoa, what do I do? And I'd never met a blind person before, didn't know anything about it, and so I was like, well, what have I seen blind people do? And they use their cane, so I made my way out into the room. And I ended up bumping into a table full of people. And
they smack you in the head, not sure where you're going.
Well, no, I said, all right, I know.
Memory for a moment.
I said to them, I'm like, are there any extra seats? Yeah. And they're like, we don't know. I was like, good point, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then this guy goes, he's like, are you from Colorado? He's like, is your name Rosh? And I was like, yes. He's like, you've been contacting me on MySpace, trying to find out the distance between towns because I was hitchhiking from one town to the next. And so I carried that experience with me, and I thought, wow, wouldn't it be amazing to do a music performance? And I've always been trying to use my music and use my gift to try to bring people together to relate and become more kind of awake and alive and connected to each other. Right? And so I met a blind woman in one of my diversity classes. I went to a small Buddhist-inspired college called Naropa. And we had a diversity class, and one of the women in my class was blind. And I said to her, I told her, I said, hey, I got this event. I want to try this idea. What do you think? I don't know if the blind community would like it or what I'm doing. And she was into it. She was like, let's do it. So she introduced me to a blind guy named Jerry Leary. Now, Jerry Leary is a car mechanic.
Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry's awesome. Jerry's the shit, pretty much. Can I say that?
Okay.
Anything goes here.
Yeah, we could do porn. Anything goes on the internet, right? Anyways.
Somebody's feeding me.
Seems like.
What happens at this? Yeah. Anyways, I digress, right?
Somebody just fed me something, so anything goes.
Yeah, so Jerry and Jerry's blind car mechanic, blind since he was born, and he's this amazing guy, a lot of charisma, a lot of energy. He's flying out for the first weekend, actually.
Okay.
And so we tried out the Blind Cafe in Boulder, and it just hit. We sold out really quick with a huge waiting list. And then we had these 2 nights. We had 54 people per night. We had our first conversation in the dark. We had our first meal in the dark with all those people, and we had the music, and everybody wanted to do it again. I mean, we had this huge waiting list, and I was like, oh, wow, that took a lot of energy. Yeah. And, all my friends in college, we all went to different farms, connected with farmers, and got local food, and it was an amazing experience.
Is it difficult to work with blind people, being able to see, and are you guys looking at the two different worlds?
I think so. I mean, with Jerry, when we were traveling out to Portland a lot, a place that he doesn't know very well, we would be walking down the streets, and there would be like a branch coming towards his head, yeah. And one of the challenges, at least that he shared with me, is that a lot of his friends sometimes go into this mothering role, like always like watching out for them, and like it's very uncomfortable in a friendship. And so I had to learn, but it's a natural thing when you get your friend there and like they're gonna like fall in a hole or they're going to the street. And but when I was learning to connect with my blind friends, I had to kind of like control that part of me that wanted to like
How difficult is it?
How difficult was it? Every once in a while, I still suffer next to them as they walk right into things. But
I have
Jerry's kind of an odd guy too, so.
I have two things.
Yeah.
Is this rice? Rice chocolate?
It's
No, it's not.
harder and larger.
It's harder and larger.
Does it come from the tropics?
Is it amaranth? No.
It's not. It's got to be couscous because the couscous was smaller.
Susie,
No, that's
I mean, it's really
that's quinoa.
Hey, Susie.
Oh, the couscous, the quinoa.
Hey, Susie.
Susie would know.
so what do you know about the Blanc Cafe? Are you being involved into the project?
Thanks, Lauren.
Is the question to me?
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking.
Oh, you guys can hear me?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was your question?
My question was, are you involved into the project as well?
I was the event coordinator 2 years ago in Portland.
Oh,
Yeah, it was my first time.
All right.
I did not know what to expect. It blew me away.
So to try to take it back, what were your first feeling when you went into that? Your first experience, what was it? I mean, what did you discover about yourself?
Well, it actually started before the event actually even started, because I was drawn to the event because it was really playful sounding. It was something that I had never experienced before, being in the total pitch dark. So I was really super, super excited. And then to be the event coordinator, I got really inspired by the event. And when the night actually hit, I think I had so much going on at the time. Playing the role as an event coordinator, you're really thinking about the guests and making sure that the event's going well. And then you're also experiencing the event at the same time. It was, I couldn't take it all in at once. It's had many residual effects, but in such a positive way. I'm such a supporter of this event because it's one of those unique times where you truly are present with the people in your life, the people that you're surrounded with. I don't know very often in life when you slow down that much and you're that present with them.
Let me
So
ask
it's
you
a
this.
great way to connect.
So during those kind of events, did you have like a night vision goggle, or how do you manage the event? No, well, the event. If the event goes well, I mean, if this is dark, it's dark, and you won't be able to see. How do you manage that to make sure that no one is stabbing each other?
Yeah. You know what? That's what I was thinking when I first started too. And I think there were some night vision goggles somewhere in some storage, but I never got a hold of them. No, but I can totally attest to what Rosh was saying, is there were a couple guests I remember the first night that were really terrified. I mean, it's pitch dark. You cannot see anything. You try to open your eyes and you just can't see anything. So there were a couple guests that were fearful, and we kind of went outside, or we went out and just talked to them, and then they were really brave. They went back in and experienced it. So I really commend that. That's another thing. It's a great way to face your fear. It's really uncomfortable. And I think uncomfortable and facing your fear is really, really good for you.
Hey, Rush, your experience. So what is the average age for the diners?
I would say probably 30s through 50s, And we definitely have people. We've had teenage volunteers. We've had this one Indian woman brought her 4-year-old son, and she called me ahead of time. She says, "Do you think he's going to be afraid, and all this stuff?" Right? Hey, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Oh, welcome.
Hello.
Yeah. All right. Hi, Chris. So you're on board. Cool. So I'll start that little bit again. I'll just share with you. Sometimes we have all different ages at the Blanc Cafe, mostly probably 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Okay.
And then we have a lot of volunteers from people in their 20s and in college sometimes who can't afford the price or need a discount or want to volunteer somehow. But we did have an Indian woman. She brought her 4 4-year-old son, and she called me ahead of time. She's like, do you think like he'll be okay to bring him? Will he be too afraid? And then of course we get to the event, and she's the one who's afraid. And her 4-year-old is like, it's okay, Mom. It's just in the dark. We're going to be okay. And then they hung out the whole time. I went and visited them in the dark. It was really fantastic.
It seems to me like, me doing something like that, I would be more like, for the fun of it. But I think it will turn to like something very, something different very quickly. Where, you go over there just to have fun with your friends. So I don't think I would do this with a date, but it would be like with 4 or 5 of my friends or 6, where you sit down and things. But eventually, so are you like breaking down the people around, or if I come with Suzanne, I'm sitting down with Suzanne side by side, or you're putting Suzanne on the other side of the table? Or?
No. I mean, most people when they come and they're brave enough to come hang out in the dark with me and 100 other people for a couple hours.
That's 100 people.
It's a lot of people in the dark. So it's intense. It's not like your little dining experience that you get at a regular restaurant or a regular dinner in the dark.
And this is one long table, or this is like
long table, 6 to 8 person tables. Rectangular tables actually.
Actually, I have a question because my only dining in the dark experience was with my husband once. It was at a restaurant, and it's a little more shishi. It was funny because it sounds like I would almost be a little more comfortable at the Blind Cafe event because at my table, it was only he and I. I kept reaching out for him, making sure he was there.
Just like you're reaching out for me, sweetheart.
Exactly. And I was singing to myself all the time too. But it sounds like at the Blind Cafe, I would be able to reach out to anybody and on either side and know that I am there with all these fun people. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And it may not be such a bad idea too to bring a first date or so to something like this, because then you really get to know the visual. You see the visual.
It can be a very hot date. Let's just say, what happens in the dark stays in the dark.
Well, good.
Okay.
Well, good. And
should I have said that?
And also, my only experience dining in the dark, there was, knives and glass and all these sort of things. But if I understand correctly, I heard that we have all compostable dining ware, and there is a fork, but people don't end up using it because we actually have food that we can just detect with our hands and eat, and we don't become a disaster.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
guess who it is?
Yeah. Hey,
I
just want to mention just very, very quickly that we have a bunch of people logging in. They're enabling their cameras now. We have Chris, we have Peter, we have Elijah, and several other people. Enable your cameras. We can hear you.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
So
we can hear you.
I'm going to bring you back in once you're ready. They're showing up a little late, I would say.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, we can keep going.
You guys, so join in and keep going. And I just want to make that little program.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone.
And Susie, I just wanted to make a shout out to you because I know you've been on here. I'm glad to hear. I didn't realize that you were the event coordinator in Portland. I'm actually the event coordinator here. My company, Events by Colette. I'm actually the San Francisco event planner. And so I'm super excited to meet a fellow coordinator of the Blind Cafe.
Yeah, maybe you guys should talk. Should kind of warn you about me.
So Rosh might be different in Seattle than he is in San Francisco. Who knows?
I know that they want to take the blindfolds off because it's getting a little
Is
uncomfortable.
this Stark Wine again? Is this Stark Wine?
I refilled your white.
Oh, it's a
maybe you can
Bianchi.
tell.
Thank you, John and Christian.
Is it Stark wine made in Winterfell?
All right, here we go. Are you ready to go back into the light?
I am ready to go back into the light.
I went from red to white.
Tell us if it tastes good.
Whoa. I don't know. Let's see.
How does it feel? Is the wine as delightful when you have the distracting visions?
The wine is better in the dark.
Yeah.
It's better in the dark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Better in the dark, folks.
So one important key, since we just took that off for the new viewers, is that, the Blind Cafe is in the complete dark. We don't use blindfolds. And we do that because we want you to be uncomfortable enough to grow, because when you're in a situation and you're working together with everybody at your table, you have to rely on each other because you're in the dark. You don't know how to eat with a fork anymore. I mean, you'll go like this, and there won't be any food on it.
I was trying to sip my
It's
wine.
quite an
It took a
adventure.
while
Like
to get
a
to the
tasteless
lips.
mystery.
Yeah, and you can't really leave by yourself. You got to ask wait staff to help you. To go to the bathroom or whatever. So it's giving up control, and there's something happens when we finally just let go. But it takes a little while first.
If
right?
you go to the bathroom, this is in the dark as well?
Yep.
No way.
That's what happens when you just let go. Something happens. You just let go.
No.
Just like
That's the Blind Cafe.
Tell them about that with you.
We don't make you go to the bathroom in the dark. But
That'd be awesome.
yeah. But we do have everybody shut off all your cell phones, not vibration. And then also, so we have 2 rules in the Blind Cafe. One is no light whatsoever. If you turn on your light or if you didn't turn off your phone, we just immediately ask you to leave. It's just not cool. We work very hard. We actually have a special role called the Master of Darkness, the MOD. Yep.
Yeah.
And the MOD will actually spend anywhere from 6 to 9 to 12 hours to making the room completely pitch dark, maybe even longer sometimes for difficult spaces. And so it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of love we put into this, and people will feel that. And that's what the Blind Cafe, that's what you're really feeling there. It's just this incredible amount of effort that came together for these 2 hours, because you have all these volunteers, you got the blind wait staff, you got the musicians, you got the chef. We've gone out and we've talked to local sponsors. So many people putting their time and energy and heart into this event, and that just to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. So are you
people feel that in the dark.
Are you playing music during the course of the event?
No. Okay. So the music actually is a little bit we're reteaching people how to listen to music. We're actually showing them what it's like to listen to music again. Like, remember when you're like 16 years old and like you actually listen to music, lay down on your floor and you put an album on and you're not doing anything else. You didn't have your cell phone.
Maybe you turn the lights out.
Yeah, you turn the lights out maybe, but you're just hearing music. You're not distracted and doing something else. And it's been a long time since anybody's done that kind of thing. And so what we do is we have the dinner part in the beginning for like 20, 25 minutes. Everybody gets to chat away and do whatever they do in the dark. I don't really know what people do in the dark. Right?
There's no monitors.
Yeah,
right?
we have no filming in the dark.
This could be scary.
There's no radar.
I mean, I don't know what San Francisco.
Blind Cafe.
I don't know what San Francisco's like, but in Portland, we had a table full of naked people. That's right. So we'll see.
Can't be outdone by Portland. Sounds like a challenge to me.
Well, and we are having since there's 3 weekends, one of those weekends actually is during Halloween weekend this year. So who knows what could happen?
Yeah, that's right.
Who knows?
That's
You
right.
can spend Halloween with us at the Blind Cafe.
Yeah. And back to the music. So the way we set it up is we have a Tibetan singing bowl that I ring 3 times to bring everybody's attention together. And we're actually teaching people active listening. So we're actually helping them relearn how to listen. And so during the Q&A, we actually ask everybody as a group to actively listen and hold silence and be mindful of when you're speaking, because there's people of all different types of hearings in there too, and we got 100 people. And people want to hear the questions, So there's an art to that, creating that kind of environment for a certain type of connection. And so we do the same thing with the music too.
Well, what are the types of questions that are asked during this period?
We've had a lot of tech questions. People ask about, what's the most blind friendly computer software and things like that. Apple.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
really?
There we go.
And,
That's right.
Apple's amazing. So Apple, you take it out of the box, you hit a button, and it's blind friendly. Yeah. So Microsoft's not like that, but and then
Not even friendly to people who can see.
We've had some. Okay.
All right.
Well,
Calls him like a reason.
is he one of our? Are they one of our sponsors?
Oh no, but Apple should be.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so
The other types of questions.
yeah. So another question would be, people ask do you see colors when you dream? And that depends on the people who are blind, because they have different levels of blindness. And some people are entirely blind, and some people.
Rosh, just to make things moving a little bit, I'm about to throw a challenge here. Can you play guitar blindfolded?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Blindfolded?
All right. And you can even feed me some chocolate.
Yeah.
You can announce that.
You gonna do it?
All right,
Okay.
then.
Okay. I'm gonna grab the thing because the thing.
No, we're gonna plan food now, and then you're gonna grab. We're gonna have the guitar in the room.
For one of our guests who just walked in, would she like some Stark wine?
There we go.
Would you like a white or red?
So, can you see?
No.
Not at all?
Oh, nope.
All right.
You want red or white?
Are you Patrick's mother?
There you go.
Thank you.
Are you Patrick's mother?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Well, actually, we just have someone who joined us. She's actually the owner of Field Vineyards. And Field Vineyards is actually another one of our wine sponsors. And she arrived a little bit late, but we are so honored to have her here.
Sorry that I'm late. I really apologize for talking. I've never seen traffic so big, but I'm here. I'm happy. Thank you for taking me. I appreciate it. So
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is Rosh, the creator.
Yeah, how you doing? What's
I'm
up?
doing fine.
Yeah.
You're practicing to not see anything.
I didn't even think I got a glance of you when you showed up, so I'm just gonna smell you. It's really good.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So which one would you like?
What colors does she wear?
I'm gonna take the red.
Okay, yeah.
I don't.
Can you bring us into the song?
Okay, yeah, let's do a song. So,
Colette, move the wine bottles away.
Yes.
so what was the question? Can I sing in the dark?
Yes. Can you play in the dark?
And play in
try
the
that.
dark.
This is what I sound like in the dark. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wait. This is called Love and Rainy Days. School books look heavy. Won't you let me carry? Can I walk you home? By the time this street ends, we'll know each other then. We'll fall in love real soon. All in all, fall down the rabbit hole, tumble and scratch and bruise our knees. Fall and fall into each other's thoughts again, only to wake up with that need. Each other's company. See, you've got my birthday. Won't it make you happy to know you're not alone? We can only see what happens while the world lives in reaction. This eternal pull. All in all, fall down the rabbit hole, tumble and crash in the autumn leaves. The sun will fall, the cool, dusty morning wind wake us up with naked feet, tangled under the blankets. So we'll grow up together through all sorts of weather. The tides, they'll change. You wear a skirt and now bend, just like a gentleman. It's you I'll save. All in all, fell down that rabbit hole, still making love in our 80s. Hear the call of a grandson and children, holding our hands as we pass away, leaving a legacy.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Well done.
Good job,
Well
Rob.
done.
Well, if he can play music in the dark, I think we can do anything in the dark.
You can eat in the dark.
Ching ching to that. I would much rather have experienced that blind.
So we do have one more chocolate sponsor, and I'd love to taste that chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
blindfolded.
this is from Kiki's Cocoa, straight from San Francisco. And what's this like after?
Oh, he likes it.
Oh my goodness. The cool thing about eating in the dark, nobody sees you can just do this.
No one can see you.
No one can see me, whatever.
No one thinks anything less of you now, Rosh.
You're so good.
Well, the nice thing about each one of the days of this event, as you know, there are 9 days, is that we have different sponsors for each day. And we've paired it, we have different wineries or different brewery each night. And our chefs have actually paired the food according to each winery. We've asked all of our wineries to give us the descriptions of their wine. And so we can pair it with the chocolate that's also being sponsored too. And we just have an amazing source of food and beverage that are being hosted and sponsored every single night. And so each night is going to be completely different from every other night. So even if you came the first night of the event, you can come the last night and it'll be a completely different experience.
So let's talk about this like for a minute. You guys have a website. So what is the website?
Oh, so the website is www.theblindcafe.com. That's www.theblindcafe.com.
That's easy to remember. And
I practiced that one.
Event sponsoring a charitable organization, or is this a
so we are a fiscally sponsored organization operating under the nonprofit Boulder County Arts Alliance in Boulder, Colorado. We started in Boulder, and we had our first 2 shows there. And then after that, I wasn't going to do anything with the Blind Cafe. I just wanted to do it and just have the experience. But we had such a response, and we were touching on something really special. That I was in California. I had plans to go to Thailand, but I had this voice in my head that said, "Go to Portland and start a Blind Cafe." And I was like, so unhappy not listening to that voice. I just hitchhiked up to Portland. I got a job at a cracker factory because I only had enough money to either invest in the venue and the food or rent. So I worked at this raw foods, cracker factory for the summer, and then to pay my rent. And then we did our first Blind Cafe in Portland. We were on the front page of the Oregonian. 140 people each night. That's too many people.
It's amazing.
And it was too many people, but it was fantastic, and it hit really well. And people in Portland wanted to do it again. And then so I brought it to Austin, Texas. We've done Aspen, Colorado. We've done Boulder. We've done Burlington, Vermont last fall, which was where my family from Boston actually could come up and see it. And we actually got to go apple picking with a lot of the volunteers, like the morning of the event. And that's what's really cool is like there's a lot of special things happening that are in the light that are happening between people. And the next level of the Blind Cafe for me is to actually start to bring that into the picture and start into view and showing people like the impact that it's having on these people's real lives. And they're able to feel really touched. And Susie and I have been journeying together for many years as friends. And I think she did the event coordinating. You did twice, I think, right? Or 3 times or something. Right, Susie?
Just once.
I thought you did twice. Anyway.
She's just so amazing.
Anyways, but just really, there's a lot of magic happening behind it. It's been challenging going to new cities and not knowing anybody and putting it out there. But for whatever reason, I'm called to do this. And
so, I tell you what, man. I mean, you are very refreshing. How old are you?
36.
36. And you started. How old were you when you started it?
It was just 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
And we've done 30 weekends. And we just had our 30th weekend a couple weekends ago in Seattle. Yeah, and this is our first time in San Francisco and our first time in California. And my whole game plan is to move here and establish the Blind Cafe in people's lives. And so we'll probably do it in Berkeley at some point. I imagine we might bring it out to Sacramento. maybe Palo Alto, maybe LA, and some other cities. Because it's really built, and the point of the Blind Cafe is really to bring people together so they relate, whether you're blind or sighted or not. Because in the dark, it kind of levels the playing field.
Yeah.
You might go into the dark and you're hanging out with somebody the whole time. You don't even realize that they're blind. And then you go out into a lighted lobby and you see their cane. And suddenly you don't even realize that you start to treat them different. You know, and it's like, and I see this happen, and it's just really, and for my blind friends have shared with me that it's been really powerful for them to be treated like just anybody in the dark, or to even be in a room of other people and know they're not being seen, watched. You know?
Colette and I walked in, we were blindfolded, we know who we were talking to.
I know.
There you go.
I know.
And then all of a sudden you reveal, you know.
Could we get John in?
Of course.
John, my other half.
Yes.
Where's John?
Yeah, he's a musician.
He's smoking a cigarette. Come on, John.
Well, and
He's my other
Yeah.
half. And I tried,
Come here, buddy.
he was going to follow me in, and then
well, and I'm really curious about this T-shirt that Rosh is wearing. Can I get one of those?
it's interesting.
Can I get one of these T-shirts that Rosh is wearing?
Oh yeah, we do have Blind Cafe T-shirts now. We got this logo made by an amazing man named Ian Shaw up over Echo Print Works up in Portland, Oregon, and he's my go-to guy. Yep, I like Oregon too.
Yes.
And we have sweatshirts. We have these amazing sweatshirts. They're more of a black and white color. So.
But our local printer actually is Printamal, Eric Danigan, and yeah. So this is our Portland printer, and then we have Printamal as our printer here in San Francisco.
We got another donor. I mean, it's amazing.
But we have so many sponsors, I can't even say all of their names on camera, but you can look at the website and all the ticket sales. We do have promo codes if you wanted to reach out to Rosh and I. You know, we'd love for all of you to partake in it. If you can't pay for the ticket price, we would love to give you, the sponsor codes. Yes.
So, all right, so it's going to be time to wrap it up a little bit,
Okay, great.
So, again, let's go back to the dates of the event.
Okay, great. So we're going balls to the wall here. 3 weekends in San Francisco.
9 days.
And we're already selling a ton of tickets, so you definitely want to get your tickets right away because
Just today
it's going to
we
sell
sold,
out. We sold 16 tickets today, and that adds up. It's 2 weeks away. Our first, so it's going to be from October 10th through November 9th, but 3 weekends, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. It's going to be October 10th, 11th, and 12th. 24th, 24th, 25th, and 26th and 26th. And then November 7th through 9th. That would have been easier, just the through thing.
And people can get tickets online.
Yep, at www.theblindcafe.com. We have a sliding scale pricing, so we ask that you pay an $85 ticket. But if you can afford more, please do. Pay more. And then what we'll do is we'll discount some people who otherwise couldn't come to this event.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's a giving system, and we're all working on this one together. It's our event.
But it's amazing. I have to say this because when Patrick, my son, called and he's mentioned this today, and then he said about this restaurant, cafe, and eating in the dark. And I said, eating in the dark. And I was so perplexed. But now I understand the whole thing. And I've heard other people has experienced this. And there is a restaurant in France that does that. And it's very, very popular. So I'm very excited. I had, and John didn't even know we were talking about eating it. The senses are so much stronger when you don't see it. And I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, and Field Vineyards is actually donating wine October 26th. And actually, Field Vineyards, the way that they actually got involved was they happened to win 2 tickets at a silent auction at another one of an events by Colette's events. It was called Winestock SF, and actually ToutSuite, who are with today, thank you so much, was actually, they actually were live streaming video for us at Winestock SF. So Field Vineyards, fortunately, was a guest at Winestock SF. They won the silent auction tickets to Blind Cafe, and here we have them as a sponsor now. So.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you supporting us.
And I apologize again for being late.
That's all good. I'm probably not even going to show up for one of the Blind Cafe, whatever. You won't know.
Very excited.
You won't see me there.
If you need to stretch out in San Francisco, go and see this beautiful lady. Sugar? No.
Honey, sugar.
Okay.
Agave.
Oh, nice.
Okay, here's a ticket, I think. But yes, where's your studio?
San Francisco Pilates. We're housed downtown, right smack in the middle of Union Square, Market and Powell.
Okay.
And yes, we're willing to get you into shape after you eat all of this wonderful chocolate and drink all this wonderful wine and have these experiences.
She'll be waiting for you.
And Lena,
Pilates is not in the dark, though.
The Pilates is not in the dark, no.
but I will say
she
that.
told me she could arrange that.
But
We can have a
Lena's,
private session in the dark.
Lena's class, because I am a client of hers also, as she is a client of mine, her class is addictive. It is seriously addictive.
And I might grace you chocolate
And
afterwards.
the venue, where's the venue? Where's
The venue is at the Center SF, and it's
Fillmore Street.
Yeah, it's 548 Fillmore Street, the Center SF, and it's a fantastic venue. They've severely discounted the space for us. Everybody's come together to make this event happen. So please come join us. And if you don't buy your tickets in time, come join us next time.
I think to that.
We have a waiting list and stuff on the website.
So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you again. I don't see anything wrong with this event. I mean, it's just like it looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you.
It seems very affordable and a good way of getting to know other people and getting to know yourself.
That's right.
I think this is a good cause, put you back in the place that maybe you should be a bit more humble, and discover things that you don't know. $85. I mean, this is nothing. It cost me that much for 3 rounds of drinks here in Napa Valley.
So, right? There you go.
And you're giving back to a charity at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right. So the Blind Cafe, www.blindcafe.com.
Yep, that's correct.
And just ching ching, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Raj.
Thank you very much. Susie. Good night.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye, guys. Thanks for coming.
Bye-bye.